A few years ago, Dwight Howard invited me to a Diddy party. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting. Diddy was giving me a house tour when I saw 1,000 bottles of lube. He told me he was going to use them for a massive slip and slide, but I didn't buy it. Then he tried to convince me to play a game of strip horse. He really wanted to see La Hammer.
Bruh, we know you was at them Diddy parties. We know you was there. We know you was at them Diddy parties.
I want to ask LeBron, what does he mean by there's no party like a Diddy party?
LeBron James speaking about how much he loves a Diddy party.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
I mean, I hit rock bottom, disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now.
Oh, that's LeBron. That's LeBron. Oh, man.
He was doing the things to other people that was done to him. He learned from Russell Simmons, Clyde Davis.
They want to monetize and traumatize.
What happened with LeBron though?
Nah.
They've dug deeper onto the Diddy incident.
Whoa.
And LeBron might be facing some charges.
I knew.
We need to talk about the vault. Not the money vault, not the trophy case, but the digital vault that 50 Cent keeps hinting at. The one that allegedly holds the secrets of Hollywood's elite. For months, the Diddy scandal has been a wildfire burning through the music industry, taking down reputations and exposing a dark underbelly of power and abuse. But recently, the flames have jumped the firebreak. They aren't just licking at the heels of rappers and producers anymore. They are scorching the edges of the sports world's biggest throne. LeBron James has spent 20 years building an image that is bulletproof. He's the family man, the philanthropist, the activist, the king. But as federal agents unpack the horrifying inventory of Diddy's mansions, and as 50 Cent prepares to release what he calls the reckoning, that bulletproof glass is starting to crack. Why is the internet suddenly convinced that LeBron is hiding something? Why has the man who has an opinion on everything suddenly gone radio silent? And what did 50 Cent mean when he said the industry is quiet because they know they're on tape? Today, we aren't just looking at the rumors, we are looking at the timeline, the deleted posts, and the uncomfortable connections that have turned LeBron's silence into the loudest noise on the internet. Buckle up, because the story of the king and the bad boy is darker than anyone expected. To understand why this is blowing up right now, you have to understand the role of Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. For years, people thought 50 was just being an internet troll. He would post memes, crack jokes, and take shots at Diddy whenever he got the chance. It was easy to write it off as old rap beef, two moguls who just didn't get along. But looking back, it feels less like trolling and more like a warning. 50 Cent hasn't just been laughing, he's been gathering receipts. And now he's cashing them in with a Netflix docuseries titled The Reckoning. Here's where it gets scary for everyone involved. 50 Cent has gone on record saying that the docuseries isn't just a rehash of the news, it's an exposé. He claims to have access to footage, interviews, and information that the public hasn't seen, and he has been very specific about one thing: the silence. 50 has repeatedly called out the industry for not speaking up, implying that their silence isn't out of respect, but out of fear. The theory he is pushing is simple but devastating. Diddy wasn't just partying, he was documenting. 50 Cent suggests that the reason so many A-list celebrities are scrubbing their social media and keeping their mouths shut is that they know cameras were rolling. And when 50 Cent starts posting pictures of LeBron James with captions that hint at "explain yourself," he isn't just asking a question. He is signaling to the world that the king might be a pawn in a much larger game. This docuseries has put everyone on edge. We aren't talking about a YouTube vlog. We are talking about a global platform giving 50 Cent the budget to dig up the bodies. And for someone like LeBron, who has carefully curated every second of his public life, the idea of uncontrolled footage is a nightmare scenario. 50 Cent is essentially holding a match over a pool of gasoline, and he's looking directly at the celebrities who used to frequent those white parties in the Hamptons. He's letting them know the vault isn't empty, and he has the key. If you want to know why the internet turned on LeBron so fast, you have to go back to the year 2020. It was the height of the pandemic. The world was locked down, people were bored, and celebrities were living on Instagram Live. In what seemed like a harmless moment of bonding, LeBron James hopped on a stream with Diddy. They were laughing, vibing, sharing stories, and then LeBron dropped the line that is now haunting him in every comment section across social media. He said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." At the time, nobody blinked. It was a pop culture reference, a nod to a Bad Boy lyric, a compliment from one mogul to another. For decades, a Diddy party was a status symbol. It meant luxury, it meant excellence, it meant you had made it to the top of the food chain. But fast forward to 2024, and the definition of a Diddy party has changed violently. After the federal raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami, the world learned what freak-off actually meant. Authorities reportedly seized over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant, along with alleged evidence of coerced performances, drug-fueled marathons, and exploitation. Suddenly, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party" doesn't sound like a fun time in the Hamptons. It sounds like an admission of guilt. The internet does not forget, and it certainly does not forgive. That clip has been viewed millions of times in the last few weeks. People are dissecting LeBron's body language. They are looking at the smile on his face and asking, "Did you know?" It's impossible to strip that quote of its new context. When you hear LeBron praising those parties now, you aren't picturing champagne and white linens. You're picturing the allegations in the federal indictment. And that cognitive dissonance, the image of the wholesome family man endorsing the man accused of running a criminal enterprise, is shattering the trust fans had in him. But if you think this is just about social media speculation, you need to listen to the people who were actually in the room. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has been one of the most vocal sources of information since the scandal broke. And he isn't just talking about Diddy, he's talking about the system Diddy allegedly built to protect. Deal has dropped a bombshell claim that aligns perfectly with 50 Cent's threats. He alleges that Diddy had a habit of recording everything. According to Deal, there were cameras in rooms where people didn't think there were cameras. There were audio recordings of conversations that were supposed to be private. Deal suggests that this wasn't just for posterity, it was for leverage. It was an insurance policy. This brings us back to the concept of the vault. If Gene Deal is right, then Diddy is sitting on a library of dirt that could ruin half of Hollywood and the NBA. Deal specifically warned celebrities. He even name-dropped Ashton Kutcher, saying that if they were at those parties, they need to be worried. He painted a picture of a man who collected secrets the way other people collect art. Now, apply that to LeBron James. LeBron has been photographed with Diddy countless times over the years. They have vacationed near each other, partied together, and celebrated championships together. If Diddy was recording his friends to ensure their loyalty, is it plausible that LeBron James escaped that surveillance? That is the question keeping PR teams awake at night. The implication here is terrifying. It suggests that LeBron's silence might not be a choice. If tape exists, even if it's just footage of him in a compromising but legal situation, or surrounded by people doing illegal things, that's enough to tarnish the brand. We live in an era where perception is reality. LeBron doesn't have to be guilty of a crime to lose his standing. He just has to be seen in the proximity of one. Deal's warning suggests that proximity was documented in 4K resolution. Let's talk about the silence. It is deafening. And nobody has pointed this out more aggressively than political commentator Candace Owens. Love her or hate her, she has latched onto a point that is hard to argue with. LeBron James is usually the first person to speak. When there's a social justice issue, LeBron has a tweet ready. When there's a political controversy, LeBron is wearing a t-shirt with a slogan on it during warm-ups. He has cultivated a brand as more than an athlete. He positions himself as a moral compass, a leader who is not afraid to speak truth to power. He has called out owners, politicians, and entire systems of oppression. So where is he now? The allegations against Diddy involve the exploitation of vulnerable people. They involve violence, trafficking, and abuse. These are exactly the kinds of issues LeBron claims to care about. Yet since the news broke, since the raids, since the Cassie video, since the arrest, LeBron hasn't said a word. No tweets, no press conference statements, no vague Instagram stories about doing better, just nothing. Candace Owens framed this as a betrayal of his own brand. She asked, "Where is the king?" She argues that you can't pick and choose when to be a moral leader. If you only speak up when it's safe, or if it fits a corporate narrative, then you aren't an activist, you're a brand manager. This silence is feeding the conspiracy theories. In the absence of a statement, people are filling in the blanks themselves. They are assuming that he can't speak. They are assuming that he's consulting with lawyers instead of his conscience. Every day that passes without LeBron distancing himself from Diddy is another day that the public assumes they are still on the same team. It's a PR disaster that is slowly morphing into a legacy crisis. Just when you thought it couldn't get messier, Drake entered the chat, and not in the way anyone wanted. Recently, alleged text messages linked to Drake surfaced online, connected to his own legal battles with Universal Music Group. Now, we have to be clear, these texts are unverified. DJ academics and others have claimed they might be fake or taken out of context, but in the court of public opinion, the seed has already been planted. In these alleged messages, Drake makes a comparison. He reportedly complains about his label situation and uses an analogy saying it's like Nike funding a campaign about LeBron cheating on his wife.
Hey, boy, give me the credit. I got the Richie that sit on my lap, and sometimes I always be pulling the leg. That's a no earth, I can go to that rocket chain and take a trip on the stage. I was in bird, I'm on my tongue, and they ain't but they ain't hate. I love my work, so I'm going to the so I'm okay. Man, it's a church, and when they ain't everything down at the zone, I'm on the stage. Hang on, run, and then not a race. Go! Rather than Drake.
Whether the text is real or a fabrication, it touched a nerve because it speaks to a rumor that has followed LeBron for years. The idea that there is a massive machine dedicated to cleaning up his messes, the fixers. The internet has long speculated that the reason LeBron has never had a scandal is not because he's a saint, but because he is too valuable to fail. Nike, the NBA, and his own agency have billions of dollars riding on his reputation. This connects back to Diddy in a disturbing way. If LeBron is part of a system that cleans up problems, was Diddy part of that machinery? Or was Diddy a liability that the machine couldn't fix? The rumor mill suggests that Drake, who has his own close ties to LeBron, knows where the bodies are buried. The idea that insiders casually discuss cleaning up for LeBron makes the Diddy connection feel less like a friendship and more like a mutual protection racket. It reinforces the idea that what we see of LeBron is a product, a carefully manufactured hologram of a person. And if the Diddy tapes threaten to show the real person behind the hologram, then the machine is going to work overtime to suppress it. That is why the Drake rumors, fake or not, added so much fuel to the fire. They reminded everyone that at this level of fame, nothing is what it seems. You can't talk about industry conspiracies without talking about Kanye West. For years, Kanye has been going on rants that people dismissed as mania. He would scream about the control in the industry. He would name-drop executives, doctors, and handlers who he claimed were keeping celebrities in line.
Dr. Dre, his son. Out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize. And God loved me. You understand? They hit me. Gap, Adidas, all that away. Still, Forbes, who hate me, right, had to write net worth 400 million. Jesus is king. God loved me.
That's more important than thinking of life.
That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? And this truth is gonna be heard. I can't send none of y'all meat males, y'all puppies, y'all little boozy, none of these names, none of these people that have to listen to y'all because they're dealing with, they have legal. I never, right? I'm the that never, right? But that means I can say whatever I want and not go to.
Specifically, Kanye has mentioned the idea that certain public figures are compromised. He has ranted about people who have done things in their past that are used against them to control their behavior. He once famously said, "They can't control me," implying they can control others. Now, people are digging up those old clips and listening with new ears. Was Kanye warning us about the Diddy dynamic? Diddy was a gatekeeper. He was the guy who could get you into the room, but he was also the guy who could lock the door behind you. If Kanye's theory about compromised celebrities is true, it explains LeBron's silence perfectly. If Diddy holds the keys to the vault, then Diddy holds the leash. It reframes LeBron not as a villain, but as a hostage of his own lifestyle. It suggests that the price of admission to the Billionaire Boys Club was giving up your freedom to speak. Watching those old Kanye interviews now feels like watching a horror movie where the crazy guy at the gas station was actually trying to warn the kids not to go to the cabin in the woods. We didn't listen, and now we are seeing the monster. We need to be very specific about why this is different from other celebrity scandals. Usually, when a celebrity gets in trouble, it's for a DUI, a fight, or maybe tax evasion. Those are human mistakes. What Diddy is accused of is systematic, organized depravity. The term freak-off has become a punchline, but the reality described in the indictments is horrific. We are talking about days-long sessions involving controlled substances, coerced participants, and a logistics operation that rivals a small army. This wasn't just a party, it was a production. This is where the defense of LeBron didn't know starts to crumble for many fans. If you were at a party where there is 1,000 bottles of baby oil, do you really not ask questions? If you were at a party where people are being shuttled in and out like cargo, do you really not notice? LeBron is one of the smartest players in NBA history. His basketball IQ is legendary because he sees everything on the court before it happens. He notices the smallest details. Are we supposed to believe that the man who can memorize a defense's rotation from 3 years ago walked into a Diddy party and didn't notice anything strange? That is the hurdle LeBron cannot seem to clear. His competence is his enemy here. People know he isn't stupid. So if he was there and he stayed, the only conclusion is that he was okay with it. And that acceptance, that willingness to turn a blind eye to what was happening in the VIP room is what is staining his legacy. It suggests that the King James morality stops where the VIP rope begins. We have to pause here and be fair. We have to look at the legal facts. As of right now, LeBron James has not been charged with a crime. He has not been named as a defendant in the lawsuits. He has not been subpoenaed publicly. Legally speaking, he is innocent. But we're not in a court of law, we're on the internet. And in the court of public opinion, the burden of proof is much lower. The silence is the evidence. The unfollowing of Diddy on Instagram, which LeBron did quietly months ago, is seen as an admission of guilt. It looks like he was trying to sneak out of the room before the lights came on. There was a viral video circulating of LeBron allegedly fleeing the country or selling his house. Most of that is nonsense, it's internet hysteria, but the fact that people believe it shows how fragile his standing has become. People are waiting for the other shoe to drop. They are expecting a mugshot or a press release. The legal reality might protect LeBron's freedom, but it cannot protect his reputation. Even if he never steps foot in a courtroom, the damage is being done. Every time 50 Cent posts, every time a new name leaks from the Diddy files, LeBron's name trends alongside it. He is being guilty by association, and for a brand that relies on being wholesome and family-friendly, that is a death sentence. Nike doesn't sell shoes to parents who think the athlete endorsing them was hanging out at freak-offs. So where do we go from here? What are the questions that LeBron actually needs to answer to make this go away? First, he needs to explain the proximity. How many parties? Which years? Was he there for the white parties in the afternoon or the freak-offs at 3 a.m.? There is a distinction, and he needs to make it. Second, he needs to address the silence. Why hasn't he condemned Diddy? He condemned Jerry Sterling. He condemned Jerry Jones. He has condemned countless figures for racism or misconduct. Why does Diddy get a pass? Is it loyalty or is it fear? Third, he needs to confront the king persona. You cannot be the moral arbiter of the universe only when it's convenient. This situation has exposed a hypocrisy that fans are having a hard time swallowing. It feels like the rules apply to everyone else, but not to the rich and powerful friends of LeBron James. And finally, we have to ask about the future. If 50 Cent releases this footage, what are we going to see? Is it going to be LeBron dancing with a drink in his hand? Because that's fine, that's legal. Or is it going to be something that ends a career? The uncertainty is what is driving this story. It's the suspense of the vault. LeBron James is standing at a crossroads. For 2 decades, he has defied gravity. He has beaten age, he has beaten injuries, and he has beaten the critics. He became the leading scorer in NBA history and built a business empire that rivals any mogul. He was supposed to ride off into the sunset, play a season with his son, and retire as the undisputed GOAT. But the Diddy scandal is a gravity he cannot defy. It is a black hole that is sucking in everything around it. 50 Cent is standing at the edge of that black hole, laughing and holding the receipts. The tragedy here isn't just about what LeBron may or may not have done. It's about the loss of the illusion. We wanted to believe that the king was better than the industry. We wanted to believe that he rose above the muck of Hollywood and the music business. But the Diddy tapes, whether they're real or just a threat, have reminded us that nobody gets to the top of the mountain without getting a little mud on their boots. If LeBron stays silent, the rumors will write his biography for him. If he speaks, he risks opening a door he can't close. He is trapped in a game where the only winning move was not to play, but it looks like he decided to play a long time ago. As 50 Cent says, the truth is coming. The reckoning is here. And for the first time in his life, LeBron James doesn't control the outcome. The ball is in Diddy's court, and the clock is ticking. What do you think? Is LeBron just a victim of bad friends, or is the silence an admission of guilt? Does 50 Cent really have the tapes, or is this the ultimate bluff? One thing is for sure, ain't no party like a Diddy party, because a Diddy party apparently never ends, even when the feds shut it down. Thanks for watching. If you want to stay updated on every leak, every rumor, and every development in this collapsing house of cards, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are digging deep until we hit the bottom of the vault. See you in the next one.